Alright everyone, we're in the deck profile, and this is my blue Metalgarurumon deck. So a little bit of information before we dive into the deck. I built the deck without Omnimon, and the reason because of that is just me personally. I just wanted to prove to everyone that you can play blue and top or win without Omnimon. It's not that I hate the guy. I love the guy because he has part of Metalgaruru, which is, my favorite Digimon. But I just really feel like that a lot of people depend on him to play red or blue because, the guy came out and right now he's the most potent card there is in the game. But I wanted to prove that you can play blue without Omnimon. And by stepping back and building your deck without Omnimon, it forces you to see other options that's within the color to create decks to be competitive. So without any further ado, I'm going to dive into my deck and break it down so you can see why I made certain decisions within the deck. All right, so first up, we're going to start with the Digi Tamers. So in this deck, I actually play, most people play 4 of them, but I actually play 3 Upamons and 2 Wayamons. And I'm going to go into that reason right now. The reason why I play 3 Upamons is because, yes, you still want the draw. But I took away 1 Upamon and went into a Wayamon only because of the extra 2000 DP that it provides my Digimon. One of the things that this deck does is it helps swarm the board. And if this is under a rookie, the rookie swinging for a little bit higher into the security, so it won't die to a typical rookie like crashing. And not only that, it goes into the Cerberus play I'm going to show you later. So I did sacrifice 1 Upamon to get the extra power. Most people won't see that as a good thing because Upamon allows you to get that draw, and it is easier to meet the requirements for it, which is so. But the way the deck is built, it allows you to easily get this anyway and forces your opponent to play at a pace that if they don't hard play a blocker or hard play units, they're going to lose their board presence and their board pressure. So that is why I play 3 and 2. And also it allows you to hit these magic numbers. So if Cerberus is swinging for, a low number, you're able to beat over blockers, which is one of his weaknesses, which I'll go over later. So we're going to put these off to the side. All right, so we're going to go into our rookies. So this right here was actually really tough for me to really get down packed on how I wanted to put my rookies. Almost as tough as it was for my champions. But most people play 4. I only play 2. So I play 2 Gabumons. And the reason why I only play 2 Gabumons is even though his draw is really nice, he doesn't really do anything else for me outside of his unplayability to draw, which is probably the typical reason why people do play him. But there's other 3-cost rookies I would rather put on the board to set up for a champion, or I'd rather have on my raising area. And majority of the time, if I want to put something out here, it will probably be a lower cost rookie anyway, so that the board is memory efficient when it comes to putting things out with a lower cost. But he does come clutch when you need to fish for something and you're like, hey, I just put a rookie here. I either want to put another rookie out, crash into his memory, but I also don't want to neg because I didn't want to digivolve. That was one of the moments where I actually did go into Gabumon instead, and I didn't digivolve. I actually went out so I can swing into the security, and then the next fighting turn I digivolved and went from there. I play only 3 Gomamons. He is really good when it comes to wanting to just digivolve like a Gorillamon on top of him, or anything that you are afraid but not really afraid of something dying, because in return you're going to get that +1 memory. and especially he's really good when it comes to digivolving a blocker on top of him. So that is one of the best things about him. And it also allows you to make your opponent think twice about crashing into the Digimon with that, especially if they want to keep as much memory as possible. Because if they're at 0 for whatever play, and they're like, hey, I want to get that Digimon off the board, but I don't want to, lose the rest of my turn, they're either going to let it go, or they might crash into it just to give you that one, but they have to skip on, what else they would want to do. But there's just a lot of possibilities that Gomamon can put you in and put your opponent in, and that inheritable ability is just really good. So we're gonna go into the Gabumon. I played this at 4. At first, when I built the deck, I only played it at like 3, but because of I increased my Wayumon count, and because of the combinations I'm going to go into later when it comes to Cerberusmon and Ikakumon, this card came in really clutch to putting all these pieces together. And the lovely part about it is ripping away Digi sources, and one of the main things about this game is digivolving up and utilizing the Digi source. So having Gabumon snatch that source away from him gets rid of all the benefits that your opponent's going to have, any setups that your opponent's going to have, and it helps you set up for any other play that you want to make with the deck. And lastly, I have 4 Elecmon. Mostly because he's a two cost drop that you want to just put on the board and say, hey, here we go. You're pretty much going to be that sacrificial Digimon into the security. Or if you want to play the memory choking game, this is the guy to go into. And that is my rookie lineup. All right, moving down to the champions, which was also a very hard thing to put together. Here is 2 Garurumon. Yep, only running 2. Really only in here because of the 1 cost drop if I want to memory choke someone. But not only that, it's a very efficient Digimon to get out right after rookie. That is a 6,000 DP. And 6,000 DP is actually really good. Most people are afraid to swing with their 6,000 DPs in the game, but 6,000 DP is actually pretty decent to swing with in the game. It's swinging higher than most champions in the game. And so the only thing that's really going to take out a Garurumon is that very low number of champions that, blockers or other champions with the same vanilla 1 drop, and I think a couple others, I'm not 100% sure, and above, such as ultimates and megas. So other than that, he's going to survive that security. But the nice part about Garurumon is that he forces your opponent to say, hey, do I chance Garurumon on the security, or do I give him my blocker? So digivolving him on top of Gomamon with that 1 memory, you gain something at the same time your opponent is losing a blocker and you're losing your Garurumon. So it's like it's a trade in a sense, but you're gaining something. So he's really good. I only play him at 2. I'm not trying to speed all the way up to Omegamon. So yep, I only play him at 2. Moving down the list, we got 3 Ikakumon. Now this guy right here, when people saw him in the tournament, they read him. So I'm assuming the way they were playing, they're trying their best to play around the guy because they knew what he does. And most people hard play blockers, but they were not hard playing blockers with him. They would drop a two cost and digivolve on top of them, and it'll pass their turn. That's 4 memory in total. So they were really trying to avoid that skill. What he does is, of course, like I was mentioning, it forces your opponent to play any way that they weren't intending to play. But not only that, if they do not care, or if you already have the Gabumon in the source, it rips that out and allows your Digimon to just bypass blockers, which in this game, if there's no blockers on the board to stop your attacks, you just free willy on their Digisource. And not Digisource, they're on their security. So that's the reason why he's in there, is to help me have more successful attacks when I get to my ultimates. And that's going to go into a very, very, very important combo later down the line. And with this, you can play this at 3 if you want to, but I went for more for consistency. I went for 4 Garurumon. He plays into a combo with my Garurumon, which is the one from the set, and he goes into, of course, the combinations with Metalgarurumon. But he also goes into other combinations just by himself if you just want to restand something that's already on the board, which is just, maybe another rookie if he has jamming, which I'll go into later with my Leopardmon, which I actually did in some practice games, and I think I did it in the tournament as well. I had jamming on one of my units, and I had like a lot of memory because he played something that I guess board disrupted me the turn before, and I didn't have like a lot of attacks that turn. So I ended up swinging with Leopardmon, swinging with my my rookie, and I had just enough memory to put down Garurumon. I restood my Leopardmon and swung back in again. And even though my opponent did not lose the game at that moment, I already had like a full set of board, and I got that extra attack into the security. So on my next turn is either he either disrupts my board or has to deal with all these creatures, all these Digimon that already just pounded on the security. And of course, 4 blockers. And self-explanatory, you need defense in the game. All right, so moving on to my ultimates. I played 2 Zudomon. So at first I was having a tough time to decide what ultimates to put in my game. I was not sure what to put. And I kept skimming over Zudomon and wondering why my eyes kept catching the guy. And I realized that I was too worried about that number 7 that was up there. I didn't want to hard play him just to draw 2 cards. I kept saying to myself, if I really want to draw cards, I just Digivolve. If I really want to draw cards, I just use Upamon. And he came in clutch when I started practicing with him. At some points, I would say, hey, I really don't want to use this guy. But in order for me to find out how useful he really is and how much he benefits me, I have to use him to the fullest of my ability, even if in my mind, I don't want to. When you don't like a card, you won't be able to use it to the fullest of its abilities. So when you think it's a bad card, just keep practicing with it and keep working with it, and just say, hey, you know what? I need to try to get this bad thought out of my head and try my best to make it work. If it does not work at the end, then yeah, take it out, try something new. But we shouldn't, botch cards just because, in hindsight, it looks bad. But he helped me create a very nice combo down the line, which in the tournament I had like a rookie here. Not a rookie. Yeah, I had a rookie here at the start of my turn because I went second. And I hard played Zudomon. And my opponent was like, oh, you hard played Zudomon. Whoa. And on my next comeback, I moved up my rookie. And I Digivolved on my rookie with a blocker. And I Digivolved on Zudomon with Leopardmon, which brung out my Gomamon. And just on that one turn, which put my opponent back at 4 memory, I had a rookie, I had a blocker, and I had Leopardmon, and the jamming game was on. And I ended up winning that game all because with Zudomon, he helped me draw into that blocker and that Leopardmon just off of his skill. So, and then not only that, when I started swinging with Leopardmon, I also started benefiting from the inheritable skill. So I wouldn't attack with him too much if I like just by himself, if I have plans on using him because of his Digi source. But if I do not have plans on using him for his Digi source, I'm swinging. I'm trying to do as much damage as possible. So moving on from there, I play 3 Cerberusmon. And Cerberusmon actually helped me win a couple of my games, if not one game per match I had that day. Besides the last one. He really does catch players off guard. When he's on the board, before you start swinging with him, let's say you weren't planning on swinging with him this turn, but you might plan on swinging with him next turn because you want to try to set up your combo. People are going to play a blocker down and say, oh, he's only 6, even though you can use the skill twice, he's only 6. So he's not really, doing much. But when you use it in combinations with Mad Dog Fire, he becomes a 9. And with doing so, it allows you to not only beat over blockers, but beat over anything that's in a security that is not a mega or a high DP ultimate, which are things like Leomon or the Metalgarurumon with the extra security. So even if you only have 2 Digimon on the board, let's say a Rookie and Cerberusmon, on board it's only 2 attacks. But this in total is 4. So the quantity is here, but on the board it's only really 2 Digimon. So in my mind, I said to myself, I want to be able to do things before I get to Mega. And that's how I kind of constructed the deck, is I want to be able to do things before I get to Mega. As a lot of players, Omnimon, they rush all the way up. By the time they get to their Mega or their Omnimon, I want to be already here and doing damage to the security. So that's where he came into play. Is by the time I get to my ultimate, I'm already doing like 3-4 damage to you. And with combinations with this, even if they have a blocker, and let's say you have the Gabumon and the Soul, even if they have a blocker, he's not blocking Cerberusmon anymore. So even though he is a 9, I don't have to worry about trying to get past a blocker. I'm already past the blocker now. I'm going to the security. Now this 9 is swinging at the security 3 times. And if I have another Digimon here, let's say I have a Zudomon here, that's 4 damage. I'm taking all of that. And there is some other intricate combinations that go into Cerberusmon, which I'll show you now. Which is, you can actually swing with Cerberusmon the first time, use his skill, so that's 1 cost. So he's swinging a second time, use his skill. And if you have Garurumon in the source, you Digivolved Metalgarurumon on him because he's already standing for the 3rd attack, but you don't attack for the 3rd one. You Digivolve Metalgarurumon on Cerberusmon, then you swing with Metalgarurumon, bringing out Garurumon, restanding Metalgarurumon, and you're swinging for the 4th attack. So with that, my deck has multiple different ways of doing things, multiple different ways of attack patterns, and multiple different ways of win conditioning. So moving on from there, I play 4 memory borrowing Garurumons. So one of the things that I said earlier is that I want to build the deck that's not based on Omnimon. But I also have to keep in mind that I am playing against Omnimons. And one of the things that Omnimon players love to do, memory choke. Because it stops you from making plays, but allows them to make plays. I'm not going to get memory choked. So with this, even if they put me at 1, I'm still able to do the plays I want to. Yes, you are giving them 3 memory at the end of your turn. But one of the things I think either Gyrotron Plays said it or True Champion Steven said it, is that even if you give your opponent a lot of memory or a certain amount of memory, You just have to make sure that even if you give them that amount of memory, that you're able to sustain yourself, or you're still able to keep control of the game regardless of what they do to you. Because even if you, let's say I give them 10, it's okay to give them 10 as long as that you have a way to keep control of the game, or even if they do something to you or do something on their board, because not all decks will affect your side, that you're still okay with your decision. You're still okay within the game. You're still okay to do your plays. So I was okay with giving my opponent that 3, because everything I am doing, even though I'm not directly affecting their board, I'm boosting my forces. I'm either digivolving again on someone else. I'm either playing an option card or spreading out my board. So that is his usefulness, and I was actually okay with it. And the combinations, actually, since I'm here, like I did with him, the combinations with Garurumon, as I was saying earlier, I have different winning options, is that even if your opponent puts you at 1 memory, you can attack with Garurumon. And let's say that you have Garurumon in the source. You can attack with Garurumon, which puts you to 4. Digivolve him with Leopardmon, and Leopardmon will bring out Garurumon, restanding the Leopardmon. Or, which I'll show you the card later, which I have in there, you can attack with Garurumon, puts you to 4, activate Kaiser's Nail, brings out Garurumon, restands Garurumon, and you swing again, making another play. You may want to Digivolve on top of Garurumon. You may want to play a 2-cost rookie. You may want to play a 2-cost rookie and Digivolve that with a blocker. Yes, you are giving your opponent 6 memory, but you also just brung out a 6-cost Garurumon. You just brung out a 2-cost rookie and Digivolved on top of him with a Grizzlymon. You just made board really off of Garurumon that was probably already there the turn previously, and 1 Kaiser Nail that's only worth 4 on cost. This is a 6. So that is one of the nice little intricate combinations that is within the deck when it comes to Garurumon. And there you go. I'm able to do multi-attacks with this guy, in a sense, multi-attacks with Cerberusmon, and that allows me to do all of that before I get to make him. So, moving on to the Megas. I play only 1 Puppetmon. In my original build, I actually played 2, but this time I play 1. It's for the board control, where I feel as in, for a couple of reasons. One, if I feel like I can win the next turn and the only thing I need to do is control my opponent's board, whether it's like a blocker or I just don't want them to swing at me, because if I know if I pass the turn, they'll end up winning. But I just need another turn for myself and I would win. That is what Puppetmon's for. Control that board and to basically insert your dominance, because they can't attack. If you hit a blocker with this, they can't block unless they play another one. So he's not only meant for defense, but he's also meant for that offensive pressure and that +1 in memory when he attacks. I played 2 Leopardmons. As I was saying earlier, when I hard played Zoodlemon and went into Leopardmon really early, the one thing I noticed about some of the Royal Knights is that they're 4 cost or higher. Besides, the Royal Knight for yellow, I forgot his name. It just slipped my mind. I just said it a couple hours ago. Kentarasumon. This Digimon not only allows me to bring out a source from any Digimon, just any level 4 lore, and just help build up the ranks. He gives all your 4 and lowers jamming. So earlier I was talking about bringing out Gabumon because draw, I really don't care if he's dying. Well, now he won't die. And then when it comes to some units such as Garurumon, which you don't want to attack with because you don't want it to die, because you want it to be in the Digisource, at that moment you are attacking with them. The good thing about it is, even though you are attacking and they're not dying, and you may be afraid that they are attacking your Digimon right after on their turn, that is okay. And the reason why is this: without jamming, they were going to die anyway. But if they're attacking your Digimon, they are attacking your Digimon and not your security. So you're already in the mindset that you're going to keep playing Digimon on the board anyway, whether they're rookies. You're either going to like hard play a rookie, or you're going to hard play a champion even. Because you even might put down a Kakumon. I think I did that one time. I just hard played a Kakumon and just kept my board pressure up. It is okay. If they're not going for your security, that's more longevity for you. And Leopardmon, unless they're playing something like Cocytus Breath or Gaia Force, or just something to get him off the board, he basically just has a stationary skill that's not going anywhere. If you don't attack with him and don't give your opponent an option, that skill's not going anywhere. And they're going to be afraid of it, because that means nothing over there is killing anything that's champion or lower. And if they do not decide to go for your champions and rookies, longevity, these things are continuously smacking at the security. And even if they play a blocker, you're already built up a field because they're not attacking your Digimon. So even if they played a blocker, you still have like 4 or 5 Digimon on the board. One blocker can only take 1 Digimon. So you got the other 3 just smacking into the security. So, and then once they block and kill one of them, Leopardmon goes right to that blocker and go like, you won't have him next turn. Boop. So that is what he was in there for, to help increase that board pressure and to help fill the ranks and basically allow longevity with the champions and the rookies. And topping it off, my man's Metalgarurumon. Everyone knows what he does, so it's really kind of self-explanatory with him. He helps fill the ranks. And with the combinations I was saying earlier, with Cerberusmon, if you're doing in that, and with Garurumon, you always have some type of multi-attack factor going on. So you're either building your ranks, or you're multi-attacking, and or you're doing both. So with this, allows you to have so many different combinations and ways of doing things. You're not restricted to just doing one type of digi pattern or one type of attack pattern, and you're not restricted on saying, oh man, if I don't get to Leopardmon, I lose. If I don't get to Metalgarurumon, I lose. If I don't get Puppamon in my hand, I lose. I never liked that feeling of depending on one particular card to always win me the game, especially not something that's like, no pun intended, omnipotent. So that is why I selected these as my ultimates. They basically, in a sense, do the same thing, bring out something from the Digisource. One gives me jamming, and the other one allows me to continuously bring out Digisources from under him as long as I have them, which continuously helps me bring out more units to do, more attacks with. And if you combo it, like I said, with Garurumon, you're getting multi-attacks off of this guy. So that is my ultimates lineup. Going into my option cards, I play 1 Kaiser Nail. Hitting this, go down the line with hitting this in the security while your board is kind of like semi good. Let's even say you only have 2 Digimon out. This thing makes your opponent's eyebrow go up because 1, why are you playing Kaiser Nail? 2, oh crap, another Digimon just came out, and that's going to probably smack into my Digisource. This brings out any card from the Digisource, from any one of them. It can be a 4, it can be a 5, it can be an ultimate, it can be a rookie. This brings out anything from the Digisource, and that's one of the things why I love it. But not only that, I thought about this card, which works in combinations with where Garurumon, this works with anyone. So it's not just restricted on just trying to do this with a combination, but if you want to fill up your ranks, you can use this card. Let's say instead of playing Zudomon out of my hand because he's a 7, but I still want a piece on the board to make a combination with. I may need another ultimate. I may need another champion, but they're 4, I mean, they're 5s, they're 6, they're 7s. Well, this is a 4 cost to bring something out of the source. And it could be an on play, such as this can be under Leopardmon. Once you play this, bring out Zudo, this is a 4, he's a 7. When I started thinking, I was like, this card is technically this card if it's in the source. I play this for a 4, which is 3 less, I draw my 2 cards. You use this in a way to not only fill up the board, but put things out in a cheaper way if you really do not want to come from the hand. So this is the card. I only played at 1. I was thinking about playing at 2. I might go back to playing at 2. I'm not sure. Once I take a break, I'll go back over the deck and try to increase it, because one of the things I know I loved is increasing my board size long way. And hitting, like I said, hitting this in security really does turn the tides, or even makes more pressure on your opponent because they just hit this thing. So, Kaiser Nell. I only played 2 Kokai's Breath. It was 3 at first, but I only played at 2. Its job is just, just as simple as just, bouncing something back into the opponent's hand. This card was very useful at one point, and a lot of people don't play Kokai's Breath, but I'll tell you why I play Kokai's Breath. And of course, it's self-explanatory, but you have to really hear me out. Control in the early game. One of my opponents was focusing on Omnimon going upward. So what I ended up doing is, once he brung it out, and he went into Omnimon, he hit something on my board, I Kokai's Breath the entire chain and went back to his hand. And at that moment, he has nothing over there because it just came out. He wasn't preparing anything else. I guess he wasn't assuming I was running Kokai's Breath. So on his next turn, because I gave him 7 memory, he was going at it again. And I saw him building up again. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And I was just filling up my board. And when he brung it out on the next turn I passed, he went to Omnimon again, knocked it. And I Digivolved, drew another Kokai's Breath, and bounced it up. And at that moment, I noticed my opponent was just, I guess, devastated that he couldn't make a comeback with it, because even though you are drawing cards when you Digivolve, it's not guaranteed you're always going to have the exact same pieces needed to go back up into what got bounced. So this right here is, to me, a very good card, and I think people should play at 2 or 3 in their blues. Most people don't, but really sit down and just really think about Kokai's Breath in a way, not like Gaia Force or Omni, that really just gets rid of things off the board, but think of it in a way that even though they're able to use that card again, they're not guaranteed to be able to get back to it. So I was mentioning earlier, in the combination with Cerebusmon, I played 2 Mad Dogs, and it increases his power. This right here I also used on my rookies once before, Gomamon, actually, to be able to get past his blocker, because I was like, you either give me that last security or give me a blocker. And I actually got my Gomamon up to 9 because I played both of those, which I actually shouldn't, because my Gomamon actually had the inheritable skill from the Wayamon, making him 11. But anywho, this card is really good for getting past things that you don't think you would get past, such as Digimon that are base 12, which is some of the cheap chickens and the Plesiomons. You can give this right here to a one of your ultimates and let him beat over it, because sometimes you just can't get rid of that 12, and he's going to probably go into Omnimon next turn, and you're like, dang, I can't beat over it. Well, Mad Dog's there to help you out to get rid of it with ease. It's only on 1 cost, and hitting this thing in security allows you to get this thing to your hand and draw a card. So it allows you to fill up your hand for Cerebusmon, and also probably get an extra piece that you were probably missing. And last but not least, I only play 3 Hammer Sparks. To me, 4 felt really clunky, and I think people who play 4 is really trying to get to the Omnimon, do the whole choking thing. But I think 3 is safe. 2 is just too little. 4 is just too much. 3 is that in between, and I think it's just right. But of course, self-explanatory is just really help you to really get to like the number that you need to play cards, such as if you need that one extra memory to play Metalgarurumon, or you need that one extra memory to play a rookie without passing the turn, so you can digivolve on top of it. It's just meant to, fill up that gap that you need to extend your turn. But other than that, that is about it. This is my deck. I placed 6th out of 18 players, and I really had a very good time with it. I only really had one big problem with it at the very end of the tournament, where my hand bricked uber hard. My first game, it bricked uber hard. I have no, nothing to say on that one. But other than that, the deck is really consistent, and if you can make it better, go for it. Let us know in the comments below on like your variation of the build, what you think can do better, because even though I built the deck, this deck is built in a way that I like playing the game, and you might like playing the game differently. So you may find different card text or quantities that changes the deck for you, and I would love to hear it, because that will allow me to make different decisions when I watch your videos, look at your deck list, and go like, I see why he did that. I want to try it. So, my name is Corey, aka Mustang, and I am signing out. Have a good one, guys.